Welcome to class. Today, I have a story for you. It's called Nothing is Free. It's about a poor young man, a baker, and a wise judge. This story teaches about fairness, imagination, and hard work. And you're going to practice English with vocabulary, listening, grammar, and activities along the way. Ready? Let's go! Let's warm up with a quick multiple choice activity card. Which word means not giving up? Is it A, judge, B, determination, or C, reward? Before we read, let's do a quick vocabulary prep. Here are the words we're going to hear in the story. Determination, reward, challenge, opportunity, judge, baker, and hard work. Determination means not giving up. Just like the student who keeps studying after work. That's determination. Reward means something good that you get after hard work, like a certificate, a prize, or even a loaf of bread. Let's take a look at this word practice activity card. You have to match the picture with the correct word. You have the numbers 1, 2, and 3 next to some emojis and the word judge, baker, and reward. Go ahead and match those icons with the vocabulary word. All right, let's get into this story. We're going to read it together, and I may stop you in between to ask you some questions just to check your comprehension, to see what you're thinking as the story plays out. There was once a poor young man in a small town. Every day, he passed a bakery. The smell of the fresh bread filled the street. He closed his eyes and enjoyed the smell for free. What do you think? Was that stealing or just smelling? Let's do a quick comprehension check. True or false? The young man ate the bread for free. Here's another true or false question. He only smelled the bread. Is that true or false? All right, let's read part 2 of this story. We're going to see the baker when he's angry. But one morning, the baker grew angry. He shouted, "You are stealing my bread with your nose! You must pay me!" Wow. Do you think that smelling bread is stealing? Let's see what happens next. All right, for this activity card, I want you to fill in the blank. The baker said, "You are stealing my bread with your blank." You have your options, A, B, C. Choose the right word from the story that we just read. All right, let's get into part 3 of the story. The baker dragged the young man to the town judge. The baker argued, "He takes the smell of my bread every day. I want payment." The judge thought, and said, "If he took the smell of your bread, he will pay with the sound of his money. Shake your coins." All right, we have a sentence scramble for this activity card. You have the words coins, shook, his, young, man, and the.
Is there something on the table?
If you play around with those words, you're going to come up with a coherent sentence. What does that sentence read like? Go ahead, don't give up. Try to mix the words in order and create a sentence that relates to what we just read about. All right, here's the end of the story. Clink, clink. The coins made a sound. The judge smiled and said, "There, the sound of money for the smell of bread. Case closed." Now, that was such a clever solution. The judge was fair and imaginative. Let's do some grammar practice. We're going to look at past tense on this activity card. I want you to choose the correct form. The judge either say or the judge said, case closed. Which verb are we going to choose? The first one or the second one? And for the second example, we have the coins either clink or the coins clink. Which one are you going to choose? All right, let's just read the end of the story. The young man returned to the bakery. He looked at the bread and thought, "Nothing is truly free, but I can work." So he swept the floor. He carried flour. He washed trays, day after day. This is hard work and determination. He didn't give up. Let's look at this word scramble. I want you to unscramble the letters of this word. What word would you come up with? The letters are TIENER MOTIDAN. That's a lot of letters, but I know if you have the right blank, you will solve this word. After many weeks, the baker softened. He handed the young man a warm loaf. "This is your reward," he said. "Not because you asked, but because you earned it." That's the key lesson in the story. When you work, you earn. Now let's get into my favorite lesson, the 5 W's practice. Who is this story about? The story was about the young man, the baker, and the judge. What happened in the story? The young man learns to work for bread. Where did the story take place? It took place in the bakery and the courtroom. When did the story take place? It happened over a course of many days and even weeks later. Why did the story happen? Well, the purpose of the story was to show that nothing is free. Great job today. You practiced new vocabulary, past tense, listening skills, and even your reading comprehension. The story showed us that nothing is free, but with fairness, imagination, and hard work, you can create opportunity. Let's do a quick final reflection. What do you work hard for in life? Can you share it in the comments? I'd like to know. How do you dedicate your time? Where do you show determination in your day-to-day life? Thank you for learning with me today. Remember, the most valuable things come through effort and are not for free. Keep working hard. Keep learning. And remember, I believe in you. See you next lesson.